welcome you and all to another episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast, where we talk about Latino everything. I'm your host, Crispin Valentin. Thank you for being here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel right now. Why? Because we have an amazing episode ready for you. We have Deissy with Creation Roofing and Foundation. She's a Latina in the roofing industry. She shares a little bit about her story and also just being in the industry as a Latina. Make sure you check us out. And now to the episode. Hola, bienvenida, Deissy. Hello, Deissy. Welcome.
Hello, Crispy.
Nice to see you again. If the ones that are part of the channel and speak both English and Spanish, you've been here before. We did a Spanish interview, but now we're going to do an English interview because I know you're really good at English. And I feel like
this is challenging for me, and I'm loving it.
We get out of the comfort zone, right? Not only that, but I feel like even the language barrier, the difference, you can tell a whole different story.
Of course.
Okay. So, some things that have not changed. We're still going to do Preguntas al Chile. Preguntas al Chile. If you have not subscribed to the channel, what you're waiting for, check us out. You know that it is important. I'm not telling you what to do. However, when you do subscribe to the channel, you are supporting our channel, our culture. Join our community of Global Latin Factors, just like you. ¿Estás lista? Are you ready?
Always ready.
¿Tacos o tortas?
Tacos.
What kind of tacos?
Pues... Si voy a pecar bien, if I'm gonna,
if you're really gonna break your diet,
if I'm really gonna break my diet and I'm gonna go have a good taco, I will have a suadero.
Suadero. A lot of people don't know about that very particular taco. Corn tortilla or flour tortilla.
Corn tortilla.
Gorditas or sopes.
Sopes.
Sopes or pupusas.
Sopes.
Still.
I'm Mexican.
Yeah. Gorditas go hard though.
Oh no, of course.
Really good. Mexican coca or...
You mean gorditas or you mean pupusas?
I mean pupusas.
Oh my God, they are delicious.
They are delicious. Mexican coca or jarritos? Coca. Mexicana. Agua de horchata, Jamaica or tamarindo?
Jamaica.
Menudo or pozole?
Pozole.
Churros or flan?
Flan.
Valentina, Tapatio, or Cholula hot sauce?
Definitely my Valentina.
Your Valentina?
Mm-hmm.
Valentina, shout out to the Valentinas.
Shout out to the Valentinas.
Conchitas, the brown ones, pink ones, or white ones?
White one.
A conspiracy theory that when you heard, you're like, that has to be true. There's no way that's not true. What could that be? It could be aliens. It could be JFK assassination. Apparently, there's new files of that.
Oh my God. Lately, I've been having a lot of experiences with like paranormal activities that people be like, that is not true. Then the experiences and the energy that, you feel is like, oh no, this is definitely.
Okay, tell me one. Can you share one?
An experience?
Yeah, did you
Oh my God, I just recently had one.
Okay.
I actually had to move places because of the place that I had just recently moved.
Uh-huh.
I was there for probably around 3 months.
Right.
And literally since the first day that I moved in, the next day that I moved into the property, they locked me out. I was locked out of my property. And
who locked you out?
Whoever it was.
Okay.
There was not an explanation. That's what I'm saying. Like, I had several, situations that they were not necessarily with the explanation. You know what I mean? Like,
so there was that place. Where was it at located? Like what town?
In Terrell.
In Terrell. So in Terrell, at that house, it was a rental?
Yes.
Did you?
It's not even a house.
Uh-huh.
It's a townhome. So you know that different families. I mean, it's like a community apartments.
Yes.
So a lot of people comes in and out. You never know the kind of energies that people be leaving behind, or whatever it was. I just happened to have like one after another, to where I'm like, okay, this is not normal anymore. Like being locked out of my property for more than 3-4 times. Like almost like I'm right there, and you locking. The only way you're able to lock the door is through the inside. And
so you couldn't do it even if you got your key and put the lock and get out.
No, there's no way, because the way you lock those doors is only from the inside, only the one with the key through the exterior. But I didn't even have my keys.
Was that the only thing that was happening as far as okay, what else?
Well, friends of mine were, you know, at my property, and they experienced like sounds, even see, you know, someone there, and
like shadows or an actual person?
Actual person, actual three people. Three people, and whenever that happened, I was actually already asleep, and my friends were like in the living room, and they were there. It was during the day. It was like around 11 in the morning.
So you were still asleep at 11 in the morning, girl?
I had gone to sleep at 9 in the morning.
Oh, okay.
And
okay, continue.
And you know, it was just one after another situations that it was like, no, this is definitely not a normal thing, you know. And me, energy wise, I was being drained.
Did you feel anything?
Yes.
Can you feel it?
The last time I was there, or that I actually wanted to stay there, because there was a time where I didn't want to sleep in my house anymore, because right before I left, I had an experience where I was asleep, and in my sleep, you know, you've ever heard of sleep paralysis?
Sleep paralysis.
Sleep paralysis.
So that's what happened to you.
Yes. But I was in the paralysis, I was like half asleep, half awake.
Yeah.
And I felt like I had something on top of me, you know, and I was praying, and I was fighting it for it to go away. Now I was conscious about the situation, because I was already experiencing different activities.
Right.
And when that happened, it was like, oh no. Like, I can't stay here. You know what I mean? Like, I can't stay here, because this is already attacking me directly. You know what I mean? Like, before it was like, oh, I heard a noise. Oh, they locked me out. But the times that they locked me out, my little girl was in the house by herself. The first time she was in the bathtub. And I freaked out, because I walked out, and I was literally maybe 2 minutes. I went and threw the trash, came back, and now the door is locked. So I freaked out, and I called my neighbors. Everything was locked, no sound, no nothing. Like, the property she was upstairs in the tub. Like, there was no way, you know, she got out of the tub and came and locked it. But that's what I was saying. Like, it had to be someone that ran in and closed the door, like, instantly, because literally it was like, I'm right here, and my car is like right
How did you manage to get back inside? The first time.
The first time.
And how long after?
How long after that? Well, I actually started yelling, but like on the little corner of the door, so my daughter could hear me. And she came downstairs, and she came and unlocked the door. Now I asked her, like, which lock did you open, right? And then she pointed the middle one, but because it's the key, middle, and the top one. It has 3 locks.
Yeah.
But the 2 from the tops, those you can only lock from the inside. So I asked her which one she unlocked, and she mentioned it was the middle one. So next
you know for sure it wasn't the one with the key.
And then I kept playing with the door, like how, you know, how is it possible? It's not loose. It's not nothing. Like, I didn't even pull the door hard, you know, for it. Like, you can slam the door that it will make a movement. Like, none of that happened, you know, for it to lock. So the next day, maintenance came, and maintenance changed the lock. And then I think it was like a few days later, it happens again. Like, literally, I walk out of the apartment, go into my car that is in front of my apartment. And then when I go back, it's locked again. And my daughter was in the living room. And then I'm like, but she has to like go around the couch to be able to make it. It was like it was too fast for her to do it. Right. And when I got close to the door, I could hear that she was still in the living room when she got up and came and unlocked the door. And then I asked her, which one did you unlock? And she said the top one. So maintenance came, and they changed both locks. Okay. And right after they changed both locks, it still happens again. So, you know, it's kind of like, what is going on? And it ended up being, because I stayed after that, I still stayed. But at a certain time, or after, I want to say 2-3 months.
Yeah.
like my energy changed. Like I was very, my energy was very low. I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to sleep. I was depressed. Like I was going through something mentally that I wasn't recognizing myself anymore. And then when that incident happened of the paralysis, and I was like, no. And then after my friend saw it, I was like, I can't.
So,
like, I waited it. You know what I mean? Like, I waited a time to see if, it's just me or they're just, maybe not making things up, but maybe I'm just, you know what I mean? But then I actually moved. I called the office, and the office was like, well, we're very sorry, but the only solution that we have is either you let the apartment go or we give you another one, like right away. That literally just made me think, like, do they know about something? You know what I mean? That has happened here previously. I did a cleanser myself with a friend of mine. While we were doing the cleanser, like crazy things happened while we were doing the cleanser.
Okay, what does the cleanser entail? Was this particular person a religious person?
It's a religious person. No. It was a friend of mine.
A friend of yours that does cleansing, that
she doesn't necessarily do it for others. It's just a way of, you go and look for, in the Bible, you look for a prayer that you are able to, call God to be present with you and to guide you and, clean this place.
Did she bring holy water? Did she bring herbs?
We did holy water. We did
copal.
No, hicimos we did sage.
Okay, sage.
We did holy water. We'd pray, and we also did Palo Santo.
Yes. So was this before you decided that you were going to leave, or you're trying to save it?
No. This was before I tried to move, because I tried to stay in that place. You know what I mean? And I think like right after that, I think whatever spirit or whatever it was that it was there was very pissed off about the fact that I was trying to get rid of them. So I did a little bit of research about it. And
there had to be some, without you telling me, I'm going to guess. There was definitely murder there, or there was definitely suicide there, something that happened previously before. And it sounds like it was 3 individuals that whatever happened, it was a horrible thing. So what was the research?
My research was that whoever or whatever was their spirits, it was people that were already there previously of me moving into the property. Okay. So
anything as far as like anybody dying in there?
It looked like somebody was being punished, and they were not being punished by nothing good. Like they were being punished by an evil spirit. So they were like, you guys can't leave this place, and they were protecting the place. That's the explanation that was given to me. And I was
the apartment would have known
whatever was going on. It don't got nothing to do with me. Like I just want to be in peace, and I just want. That's why I decided to move, because the energy that I was feeling myself, it was not necessarily like a good feeling anymore, and I wasn't feeling comfortable. So
did you leave the entire complex?
I did. No. They transferred me to a different apartment.
And that fixed it.
And that fixed it.
I know they know the apartment complex. It's kind of hard to like have somebody move into an apartment knowing that somebody committed murder, suicide, whatever the case might be, right?
Yeah.
But like, I'm glad that they allowed you to and they give you too much trouble. So one thing that I know, like, those are things are very funny because every time you see a movie about things like that, spirits and things in the house, it always starts little by little. It's always like a cabinet closes all of a sudden, or this curtain was closed, or the door locked, or things disappear until it gets to the point where they start like touching and being like
that is the part that I didn't, when in the beginning I stay by myself a lot of the times, and I've lived by myself plenty of times, but I also like have my kids around and stuff. And I was feeling concerned when it was happening and my daughter was in the property. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like every time it was happening, she was on her own. And that just made me feel like, what is going on? You know what I mean? Like, is there something else that they're trying to do? Or what is They were obviously avoiding for me to go back in the house. But this is crazy though. The day I was moving out, I went to the office to ask for the key for the other apartment. And while I was going to the other apartment, the movers were already on their way. And I said, okay, well, the movers got to the apartment. They're outside. And I'm coming back from the office from grabbing the other key from the other apartment, which is literally like in the same area, right? The door was locked again.
Wow.
The door was locked again the day I was moving. And the movers, and I go back again to the office, and I'm like, lady, like literally, literally like right now. And she's like, Deissy, are you serious? And I'm like, I am dead serious, you know?
No, I'm just playing around with you. I like to play this game.
Like, lady, the guys are here because they need to go in the house and start moving stuff, you know? Like, they charge me hourly, and I need to get in that apartment. So she calls the maintenance guys, and one of the guys comes to the property. He's in the back part we're trying to figure out how to open the door, you know, when literally he was about to break a window to be able to unlock the door, when one of the guys from the front door, he messes with the door and the door opens when they were about to break the window.
Yeah.
You remember I told you the part that they're protecting the property, that they don't want nobody to be in there because they don't want nobody in there. Whoever it is, they don't want nobody in there. The guys, even the movers, like one of them was like, you know, I don't necessarily like believe in these things. Like I don't, you know, but when we were already in the new property, he told me I was there by myself and I felt very scared, and I never feel scared. You know, like I don't believe in these things, but for some reason I felt like a really heavy energy and I felt really scared.
Yeah. I don't know too much about those things, but I know that even though I don't understand that whole thing, I know they're real. Like the haunted houses or whatever energy, whatever souls.
Man, I just pray to God I never see anything. You know what I mean?
So you were telling me something about that somebody had said that, you know, people didn't want. Who told you that they didn't want people to be there? Is that the person that was cleansing the place?
No. It was somebody else that they read cards and they try to they talk to angels and they try to, you know what I mean, trying to like investigate what is going on. I don't like getting into those things, but it's like seriously, that situation was already making me feel very crazy, you know what I mean? Like, is it me? Because I believe people do crazy stuff, you know what I mean, to witchcraft and all kinds of stuff. And I was like, is this something that they're trying to do to me, or this is something that was already here? Like, literally, that's what I was trying to find out, you know? And that's when they told me, like, Deissy, there's nothing to worry about. This is not for you. This is not yours. This is something that was already there, you know? Like, and I'm like, thank God. Whatever is there, stay there. I'm out. I'm out.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I heard stories and things like that about possessions and all that. And even though I don't get it, I know there's certain things that are like very, like so realistic.
You know,
that it's
the
real.
night that I was sleeping, the night that I felt that that paralysis, literally that night I have fallen asleep with prayers on about cleaning and about, you know, when you're asleep, you know, to the frequency in your body to be alone, to be, you know, para poderla nivelar y limpiar,
to level out your energies,
y para poder like eran oraciones para limpiar, you know, to be able to cleanse, and I don't know if this
prayers to cleanse,
yes, to cleanse.
Excuse me. Yeah, I'm glad you're gone.
Me too.
But you know, it's interesting because like, so apparently kids are able to speak more with those energies, and I don't know, maybe they wanted to have a conversation with your daughter, or maybe they were, you know what I mean. Those, from what I heard,
my daughter is like very sensitive. You know what I mean, like to things. I can tell you that she's like a really.
But just in general, those energies. Most of the time, even if it's good or bad, like a grandma that passed away many years ago, that the kid can still have a conversation with them. but an adult will never see it, but a kid does.
Some adults, yes.
Yeah.
Whoever like is already como más abierto spiritually, you can.
I'm good.
I know.
We parted ways. I'm sorry. Please make your way. It is what it is. I'm sorry.
Literally, I try to do that. I try to have
a conversation like, bro, I don't want nothing to do with you.
I did. And I used to even make jokes about it. I used to say all the time, like, come on, man, if you're going to be here, at least you got to pay rent. Like, you can't just be here.
Nah, that thing, whatever it was, because there's energy. They're just there wandering. Whatever it is, spirits are just lost and they're okay with that. And then there's the ones that are like
they're already messing with
you.
Evil. They're evil.
They're evil.
They
not even misunderstand this evil.
The thing
stuff.
is that they weren't messing with me, but when I had people over, they were messing with the people that was over. So obviously they didn't want nobody else.
Yeah.
And then they were feeding off my energy. That's why I was already feeling low. Because they were se estaban alimentando de mí, and it's like, no, man, like I need it. I got a lot of things to do. And my, like, I had one of my girls, well, she was working there, and one day I go to pick up my daughter to school, and she stays there, and she's working, and she heard someone right here, and she heard someone snoring, and different things happened to her, and I came home, and she's like outside, and I'm like, what is going on? She's like, girl, no. She's the one that helped me do the cleanser. And when we were doing the cleanser, we were praying. We were upstairs. This is the story. We were upstairs doing the cleanse, and I left the speaker downstairs with prayers while we're doing the cleanse, and I'm still cleaning, and I'm with the sage, and I'm praying, and she's praying, and she got the Bible, and we still downstairs leaving these prayers. And out of a sudden, like, the speaker stops. Like, it stops. And then we hear, like, scratches. Like an animal trying to get out. But it was in the speaker. It was not, like, outside of the speaker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it stops. And then we hear the prayer again. No. It was not the prayer. It was commercials. And then he stops. And then we hear the scratches again. And we're both looking at each other like, do you want to go see? Like, no, we don't want to go see. Come on, let's keep praying. And then with the scratches, stop. And then the prayer continue.
This algorithm's getting ridiculous. Putting commercials and scratches. Like,
yes, like,
3D.
What is going on? You know what I mean? It was definitely an experience that I didn't wanna be there. But at the same time, it's like, this is your place and you cannot feel scared. You know what I mean? Like, they cannot kick you out, but obviously they did.
Want to put money on that? But I try to do. You want to put money on that?
But I try to do it like in a peaceful way. You know what I mean?
See, I think that particular situation, because of how dark it was, the place needed to be demolished, or a priest will have to do his part to get rid of that.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I feel like
it's not my place anymore, you know? And I feel really good where I'm at now. But just a few days ago, my friends were there. We work from home, so sometimes they come and we have our projects going on.
Yeah.
And I was upstairs in my room, and they were just telling me last night that while they were sitting there, like, they had a bottle like right next to them, and she said, your cat was over there, there was nobody close to us, and then out of a sudden, like, we're just something
new place?
In the new place. She said something kicked the bottle and then just fell, and I was like, okay, I don't want to know. Please stop it. Like, whatever it is, I don't want to know because I don't feel anything. You know what I mean?
It could be the whole property. It could be a cemetery from back
and there is a cemetery like really close to there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then behind those buildings is literally nothing. You know, like, it's just land.
Some people would say that that place, a cemetery, is even safer because those people are already dead. The ones that are alive, the one you have to be concerned with.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I know.
So, yeah, this is way different. Not conspiracy theory at all whatsoever. In that realm, man, that again, like, during Christmas time, like I know about the Ouija board, right? I don't never touch it, don't even come with it because I heard stories about it from very close people of mine, and I know those things are real. I know things that happen, possessions that happen. So when I went to a Barnes and Nobles, that place, I like to go there to buy some gifts about 2 years ago. When I was passing by and I seen the Ouija board, oh my God, I had to go all the way around because I felt this weird, dark, like it almost hurts my shoulder type of energy. Wow. And I was like, nah, I don't think so, homie. I'm going to go. Because I want nothing to do with that thing at all whatsoever. Not even distance, not even close.
It's definitely not things you want to.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm glad you're good. I'm glad you're in a good place. And I hope everything turns out good, better. When you hear the word Latina or Latino or Latinx, what is the very, very first thing that comes to mind for you?
Spanish, culture. Not even color, because even as Latinos, we're all look different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's what it makes me think of.
Yeah, there's always
culture, family, community, unidad, that's
all that. Yeah. And I like that question because I feel like it's so huge, the word itself and the culture, that is everything. Like there's no right or wrong answer for it, and all of them can fit into that,
Yeah.
So do you care if anybody calls you Latina? Do you prefer if people call you Latina, Mexicana? You prefer it better?
Well, I be around a lot of different, nationalities. I guess because of my job, I come across like so many people, and some people do be like, "Oh, she's a Latina," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm a Latina." Mexico, to be more specific. Like I like to put that out there, like I am from Mexico. Yes.
Awesome. Okay, the let's start with your interview part. We done one in Spanish before. We kind of touched up on. We don't want to go too deep on what we already discussed, but I like to learn a couple of stories. Like for example, getting to the States, making it to the United States, getting here. It was a journey for you, right? Can you kind of remind me exactly how that went, and if you even wanted to come to the United States?
We all know that Deissy didn't want to come to the United States.
You were about 11 years old?
I was 11.
You already had your life, friends, and everything in Mexico, and
I feel like I didn't need to go nowhere.
Yeah. Why did your parents decided to want to come? Why drew them to Texas specifically? Was there a necessity? Did they want to pursue the American dream? Was there other things that they had in mind?
I think all of our families come here for a better life.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and I mean, I came here when I was 11, and I've been here for close to 26 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like all of the families come here for a better future. Now that I'm able to go and be here and be able to go visit my country, because for like 20 years I wasn't able to experience that.
Mm-hmm.
Came illegal, and I was able to fix that situation, and now I'm able to go back and forth, and I'm able to experience both lives now. You know what I mean? Because it's different when you're only living here and you're talking about over there, but when you haven't really been over there, how can you actually know if you can actually be over there if you've never been over there? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you that a lot of people come here because they want a better life. Obviously, they want a better life.
Yeah.
But Mexico doesn't give you a bad life either. I think in reality, it's the choices that we make in our lives.
But at that time, for you, there was like no choice.
No
I mean,
choice,
first of all,
like,
you're 11 days.
I'm 11 years old.
You're 11 days. How can you not make up your mind whether you wanted to stay? I cannot believe it.
They asked me, and they're like, and I'm like, I don't want to go. Just leave me here with my grandma. I don't want to go nowhere. And in fact, even
so they did ask you. Your parents asked you, but why did they ask you?
They didn't ask me. My mom told me like, "Hey, we're gonna move," and I'm like, "No, I don't want to move."
Yeah.
You didn't even ask. You didn't even ask if I wanted to. I don't want to, but obviously my mom was not gonna let me stay.
Okay.
So
why did she want to come here, and your dad?
Well, they had been here previously in the 80s.
In the 80s.
They were here in the 80s. And my mom was here when two of my brothers were small, like 3, 4. And it was just them two and my mom and my dad. And when they moved here, my mom always liked the life here. Like, they used to live in Decatur, Texas.
Decatur.
You know where
Yep.
Decatur, Texas is? Well, obviously they were working fine. They were working, sending money over there, building their home over there, and still, doing their life here. Unfortunately, my mom was sick. She was already pregnant with the third child. My sister was born, but my mom was always experiencing health issues. And my dad would lose a lot of days at work. And they decided that, hey, we're just going to head back because I'm not able to stay in work because you're constantly in the hospital. So him being able to handle his family like that, with him having to spend a lot of times in the hospital with her.
What about healthcare though? How's she gonna get healthcare?
Of
Mexico?
course. I mean, of course, from over there. And obviously my dad had already worked for a while, so I want to think that they had money saved up over there. And my mom has always been like really good at managing money, and you know what I mean, like finances and having money to support and all that. So they went back over there, and maybe I want to say like a year after they moved back to Mexico, that's when I was born.
So you were born over there?
I was born over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then after 11 years later, they decide.
My mom always wanted to come back. My mom always wanted to come back because she liked the life here.
Did your dad not want to come back?
My dad didn't want to come back. No, my dad didn't want to come back. My dad always wanted to, and my dad lives in Mexico.
So he did not want to be here.
My dad has always said that home for him is where his family is, and obviously when he was here, he was home because his family is here, his kids and my mom and, us. But my parents divorced when I was 12, like probably a year after my dad came to the U.S. They both went their ways. And my dad never really liked the life here. Like, he lived here. He worked in the roofing. He worked in highways and framing. He did several jobs that are like pretty tough. You know what I mean? And obviously, I mean, he was working in Mexico, and he was working in a place where it was not as hard as it was here. Like, he was handling machines, and he was not doing all these tough work and not being able to sleep, not being able, like, especially the roofing. And I, like, mis respetos, right, to the guys that are actually in the field doing this kind of work, because I'm in the field watching them every day, how they do their work, you know what I mean? And when my dad, when he had that experience, because he had an experience, like, he was deported. He was deported. And
so he had a situation, and they caught him, and they sent him back.
Yeah, he got sent. Well, no, he decided to leave.
Okay.
Because there could have been a process that needed to be taken in order for him to stay here, but he decided to leave. Because
he wanted to be over there.
He wanted to be over there, and I trust and believe in God. Like, he was over there to be able to be with his parents when he needed to be there for his parents. So I feel like nothing happens just to happen. It's life. It's life, and I respect that. And he decided that he wasn't coming back because he wanted to be there for his parents. His parents were already pretty old. Yeah. So maybe after a year or 2 years later, like a year later, my grandma, his mother, passed away. And he was able to be there for at least a year to be taking care of both of them. And then years after, my grandpa passed. So my dad was the one that, had to be there and handle business, when things like this happen. And it happens for him to be like one of the only men in the family now that is there, for the older ones. And he's not that old, so we've had experiences where it's like, yeah, it was best for you to be here. You know what I mean? Cool. We miss him, of course. His kids, his grandkids, the whole family misses him. But at the same time, we took the decision that it was not worth for him to come back the way a lot of people cross.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it wasn't worth it anymore. I mean, the love for your family, of course, is worth it, you know? But at the same time, my parents were no longer together. My brothers, even me, had already done our lives with our significant others. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, you still have a life. You still have parents. And I think our first thing is our parents. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we all took the decision, like him with us, his kids, that it was best for him to just stay over there. We didn't want to risk him to.
So he never came
that.
back again after
he
that?
He never came back. We're working on a permit, you know, for him to be able to come back.
Like a visa?
A visa.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have ¿cómo se llama? El castigo? He wasn't punished. He didn't have that 10-year punishment.
He did the volunteer.
Yeah, he did the volunteer, so none of that affected him.
Tell me how difficult, just going through it right now, is it to get a visa, to do it the right way, to come visit the United States? Are you finding it easy or hard?
Now it's a lot easier than it used to be before. Oh, definitely. Definitely. But you have to be very well informed.
But this is just for visiting, right?
Just for visiting. No, not to stay.
Be here.
No. And to be completely honest with you, I know a lot of people that come and visit and they're ready to go back. You know what I mean? Like, the life in Mexico is not as bad as people think.
Oh, yeah.
I think life in Mexico is, like, pretty chill. I think you live more. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I go to Mexico and it's, like, completely my disconnection from here. Like, you've seen, we've had conversations while I've been over there. And I just love being over there. Like, we never stop working. We never stop worrying about, we got to take care of this, we got to take care of that. And life just goes so fast, you know, just so fast. Like, you can't even, sometimes I pick up my daughter from school and it's 5 o'clock. And next thing I know, it's already time for her to go to bed. And then next thing in the morning, it's time to get up again and do it all over again, you know, and life is so fast when you're here.
If you're not able to go to Mexico to decompress, what do you do to kind of slow things down a little bit?
I do a lot of walking. I do a lot of walking. I go to lakes. I just literally walk out my door and just walk. And it's like 3-4 miles and then I'm back, you know. I go sit on the lake and just listen to water and just be close to nature. Just be close to nature is the best way to reconnect and let things go and just start all over again.
You need grounding?
Yes. I think we all need it.
I haven't done it in a minute.
Man, I go hug me some trees.
I need to go hug me a tree too.
I go hug me some trees like I need it.
Okay, I know we skipped a little bit fast forward, but just to narrate, because I remember what happened. You crossed illegally at 11 years old with other people's papers.
So much fun.
Kind of like somebody
no,
else.
not other
By
people's.
the way, I did the same thing. It's so funny how our lives are very aligned as far as like the way we crossed over. She crossed over illegally at 11. Same thing for me. I had no choice. Nobody asked me. Finally, I get here to the United States, cross illegally under the inner tube too, under a fence, ran. Even though nobody was chasing you, just in case.
Just run.
Just in case somebody was chasing
fun.
you. And then wait. There's nobody chasing you. Then hotel, airplane, and airplane, and to Dallas. That's how I got here. And it's pretty similar.
You made it through an airport. Yeah. Airplane.
With somebody else's
I did not.
papers. Pretending we were their kids. I'm like, play with the airplane. Pretend like you're hot. And then I'm like, okay.
No.
And then finally, I get here, illegal for a long time. We become legal. My dad paid a lot of fines, a lot of lawyers to be able to get us right because it costs a lot.
Yes.
Then I get to serve my country. I'm a combat veteran. And with all this situation that's happening right now, I just like, I'm not calling it, but I'm like, anybody wants to stop me and ask me any funny, I'm just ready to be like an American citizen. Because there's people out here, our own culture are like, America, this I love America, but y'all ain't never done anything for this country. Y'all never went to fight for this country. You just run your mouth, beat your chest like I'm an American, but you ain't never done nothing but work the system. They always do that.
Yeah, no.
So, I love this country. You ain't never done nothing for this country, but it's just beat your chest. Go fight for this country. Go enroll in the military right now and be part of it because they're actually lacking some people. So you can actually say that you did something that really love this country instead of just keep abusing it, keep working the system, keep making your money all of a sudden, and all of a sudden now everybody else don't get that chance. It's so stupid. Anyways.
Dang, all of that.
That was my little rant for that because I had it in my mind area and like, man.
I had to let it out.
All these people beating their chests about being so American, but I ain't even done anything for this country either to be an American.
Yo no puedo decir que I am American.
It's okay.
I can't.
I can.
No, I can't.
But you still got the things you needed to do to be able to be good in this country, right? What they require.
See, and one of those things is I learned that from the get-go. You know, since I got here, since I figured out that my parents were not gonna, go back, and obviously we will be where our parents are. You know what I mean? So, like I said, where family is, that's where your home is. So
when did you gave in to the fact that you were not gonna go back? I think you were like 14, 15.
Yeah.
That you just like, I don't think I'm gonna go back to Mexico anymore.
And that is literally because I started having kids.
So you learned the way you had a kid at 14.
Yes.
You learn the way that the U.S. works as far as the system, and then you start. You don't necessarily drop out of school, or do you drop out of school at that moment?
When I left home the first time, yes, I dropped out of school. I dropped out of school for almost a year, but that changed. That changed. Like I went back to school and I got everything got it back together, and I was working pretty good.
Were you able to graduate or
No.
get a GED?
I got the GED.
You got the GED.
But I was able to do all the way to 10th grade. Like I finished 10th grade, and then after that I was like, can't be doing this. I need to work. I need to work a full-time, 3-time.
So my friend Deissy Palomo over here loves the streets. The street used to call her. So she used to be out, and maybe it was rebellion, maybe whatever, but you like to partake in adrenaline rush type of activities.
¿Sabes qué? Like I recently been hearing these a lot.
What's
that I love the streets.
When you were younger, not right now.
Like, wait a second, because not too long ago, well, several months ago, I had this situation with someone that told me, like, you're from the streets and you're always going to be from the streets. And that kind of hurt me. You know what I mean? And I want to say this. Yeah. Why did it feel like it hurt?
Yeah.
I love saying that I'm from the streets. Don't get me wrong. But it felt like you're devaluating who I am because you're making that comment to kind of make me feel bad. To make me feel bad. And you're kind of like making it happen because it's triggering me some way, somehow. Okay. You know what I mean? And then I come to my story, right? And then I come to myself, and it's like, well, girl, yes, you are pretty much learn everything that you know from the street.
Well, it depends, okay. So
but not necessarily like that. You know what I mean?
That's not what I meant. That you're from the streets. What I meant is that it depends on how the person's presenting it, right? If they want to belittle you and make you little like you just from the streets, that's not what I mean.
No, I know.
What I meant is that at the moment of time when you were growing up, you were learning a lot of things at the moment of time that got to the person that you are right now, right? Like, and the things that people don't value is the things that you get to learn, that if you're in a house with nothing, with no experience, you don't get to learn nothing.
In your house, nothing is going to happen.
Exactly.
You know? And while you were talking, I was just thinking about that. Like, it's not that I love being in the streets. I mean, I love to be out. Not just the streets. Like, I love to be out traveling. And people don't see that either. You know what I mean? And it's like, being home is not going to get things better. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I like to expose myself into anything that I know is going to help me grow and is going to give me an experience that I don't have. And I live by experiences every day. You know what I mean? We're made out of experiences. Like, I collect all the experiences that I've lived every single day. That is the experience that I can present and give to others. I cannot speak from something that I have never lived. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yes. And all those things are out there. They're not at my house.
Yeah. And then, but what I was trying to get to on that point of the streets, no offense, is that you learned something very important, right, when you were there.
Course.
You learned that asking gets you places.
Everywhere.
And it's amazing how people are willing to tell you and volunteer information as long as you ask, right?
Of course. You
I
gotta
think
find the right
if
people.
you were not in that environment at the moment of time, if you didn't get to experience that, how much would your life would have been delayed, or how much would you not have learned so much if you didn't even get to learn that lesson, you know?
Lessons learned.
Yeah.
You learn so much.
Do you remember when that started happening? Well, all of a sudden you realized, oh, I'm asking questions and people are just really answering me.
I think it's kind of been all my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Again, because I've always been exposed into different situations since I was very young. So since I've been very young, I have been able to see things different. You know, like I don't think I've ever seen things like a 13-year-old, like a 12-year-old, like a 4. You know what I mean? Like I've always been very like advanced in my thoughts. Like,
why is that? Where do you get? Okay, I'm not
dicen que tengo un alma de viejita.
Eso. So also, right, but this is what I find it very funny, right? I don't know if reincarnation is real or not. I don't know. I don't have no evidence whatsoever. But there are some very questionable things that happen. For example, when you have a kid and all of a sudden it look like they have their own personality, their own things.
They have
like
their own
this.
personalities.
They're like pre-wired. You have 3 kids and all of them have different wiring, and like, how is that possible? They're growing in the same environment. They have the same thing. And all of a sudden they look like they're 3 different people. It seems like they already come pre-programmed with things.
Crispin, I have 5 kids.
But I'm saying.
And they're all different.
You had the same thing happen to you as far as like the way you were thinking beforehand. So is it DNA?
I have an old man at home. And I have my little girl out there. She don't think like a little girl.
So I'm saying,
she
is it
thinks
DNA?
Like an older lady.
But is it DNA programming, DNA information carried over, or is this a type of reincarnation that happens that makes this happen?
I think God sent me again. He said, you didn't finish what you had to do. Go finish your job. Like you didn't understand the lesson.
Yeah.
You got to go back and leave it and live that experience again to see if you make the same mistake or you correct your mistakes.
So even as little, you already kind of sort of realized that you was just thinking different than other kids.
Yeah.
Did you ask the kids? Do you ever think about this or anything like that? Any kid?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I'm not really good at remembering like so many things. Sometimes I go back to those and this is why I feel like I don't remember a lot of things, is because I've always lived my life so fast. And I meet so many people in my life every day that I connect with everyone every day. And I live the moment with those people that I get to meet. You know what I mean? And I forget, I forget a lot of things. Some things stay there like very long time. Those things that really meant a lot. And not that I'm saying like some things are not important, you know what I mean? But it's just the fact that I got so much information from like so many different things. It's kind of like I can't keep up with everything, you know what I mean? And I feel like the older I get, the less I remember. But I come across getting together with people that I haven't seen in a while, that I get to hang around with them, and they were friends when I was little. And then they tell me like, oh yeah, I remember these, I remember that, like this has always been you, like you're this. And I'm just like, wow, really? Like you remember that? Because they remember, but I don't.
Right.
And then it just is like, wow, you are right. You are right. Like I've always been this person.
So there's a lot of you living in the present moment, and whatever's kept and retained, fine. If not, it's okay. But minimum, you got to experience it at that time.
Yes.
Okay. Let's continue. Fast forward. So you had all kinds of jobs that you held before. You done everything. Waiter. You done a tattoo artist at one time. You even did in the pandemic, you were about to have your kids. You needed to find a way to make some more money. So you got this machine.
I went back to my machine, my detox machine.
The detox machine that you had previously gotten and started getting in that. Previously, before you have done Amway too for a long time. What was the most important things that you learned at Amway for you?
With Amway, I learned a lot of finances. I learned a lot about finances. I learned about multi-levels. I learned about duplicating yourself, of understanding that if you want to have a business, you have to duplicate the business. You know what I mean? In order, you have to. I learned that any business has to have a system in order for it to work on its own. If you want to have a business.
Right.
But if you want to have a job, you can continue running your business and it's just another job. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I learned that from Amway. I learned that you have to create ways to have financial freedom. And having financial freedom is having an income without you having to be present for you to be able to make it, you know? And that is one of the things that I learned from Amway. And I mean, besides learning how to understand others, besides how to communicate, learn about different personalities, learning how to sell, learning about health, learning about beauty, like so many different things that I was able to learn with them. And
there's a lot of self-improvement too.
They have a lot of self-improvement. And I started that when I was 18. So just the system that Amway has it helps anyone. Like you can be the person that has the lowest self-esteem and you start listening to audios, you start reading books, because that's all it is about, you know, just improving as a person, like working with your interior, like working with your person, with your healing that person, you know what I mean? And it's part of it. Because in reality, that is just life. Like if you're not okay with who you are internally, nothing is going to happen in the outside.
Yeah.
You know, we are outside what we have inside. So it reflects. You know what I mean?
There's always that quote, if you want to change in the world, you got to start with you.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Nothing's going to change unless you...
And I feel like Amway had a lot of that, and he helped me a lot because he helped me understand more of who I was or who I am in the system. But the system is the same system you can use every single day because I still use it. And not necessarily their audios, you know, but I still listen to audios. I still listen to podcasts. I still listen to positive stuff that help me build myself. Like I follow these, ¿cómo se llama? El estoicismo. Have you ever heard of it?
Oh, yeah. We had my friend that was here. He looks into a lot of stoic. He's a barber.
And I've been following it for a long time, you know. And I listen to audios every single day, and I listen to different stories, and I listen to different ways to change my mentality, to change the way I do things, and they worked.
Yeah.
They worked, and I love it, and I learned all of that from Amway.
That's cool. And you did it up to like about 25 or so?
I was about No. I think I was like 23 when I stopped.
Okay. And it just wasn't for you anymore? Were you going through life changes?
I was going through life changes.
Okay, so that made you want to stop. But you continue to move forward, continue to do other stuff. At one point, you get into roofing. But right before roofing, you wanted to do interior, designing interior. Something like that drove you.
Yes.
Why is that?
Yes. I always wanted to do something that had to do with interior designing, you know, because I love properties, because I love mixing colors, because I love art, period. And I've always been the kind of person like that when I have my house, when I have my apartment, like I always wanted to paint a wall. I always wanted to change furnitures, and I changed ways I want my house like every weekend or every month, you know, and I changed styles, and it was just something that I always wanted to do, you know, like it catches my attention to do just working with properties. And when at some point in my, I think it was like 18, no. Yeah, around my 18s, I went to ITT Tech because I wanted to start a career with that. I didn't know what to do. I had no idea at all. Like, what did it take to get to that, you know? So I get there and I'm like, well, I like art. I love art. Like, I love drawing. I love colors. But most of the art that I was doing at that time, it was black and white. It was no colors. Like, I just like colors, but I always drew just black and white.
Right.
And they're like, well, and I'm like, and I know I love homes, and I know that this is something that I want to do, but I have no idea where to start.
Right.
But I needed a GED at the moment, and I didn't have one. So they're like, well, you got to go to the library, and you got to go to school, and you got to get your GED first before you start, trying to get to college. And all this information was new for me because, remembered, I was in high school, then I dropped out, and then I just didn't go back to school. I was working. And when you're working with older people. You're not working like with people that are young, that are in school, and
right.
You know what I mean? So I wasn't getting the right information from the right people. And sometimes I didn't have time because I had a daughter and I was young and I have responsibilities. I have my house and I have my car and I had a daughter and trying to figure things out, but still always trying to pursue something else. You know what I mean? Like something different. And I didn't get to do it at the moment. Because I had so much going on in my life that I couldn't do both. I couldn't do school and I couldn't do work and I couldn't do my daughter at the same time. And I decided to let it go.
So that was past, you put it in the back burner. But later on, something else came about. So tell me, you're owner of Creation Roofing and Foundation now.
Yes, sir.
You're an entrepreneur. It seems like even as young, you always had an entrepreneur mindset.
Always.
Even if it was, whether it be Amway, you still kind of learn everything that you can about it. So give me the story regarding Creation Roofing and Foundation as far as how you got introduced to roofing, what brought you to doing that, who introduced you to doing that, and all of a sudden now becoming and building your business you've been doing for some time now.
Well, everything started because I've been exposed to see my people. When I say my people, meaning Mexicanos, Latinos, you name it, right? That we come from another country and we try to do a living here. And I was exposed into so many different jobs where I saw people struggling getting jobs. And I always thought about, okay, I mean, even myself, I work for a lot of different temps, like temporary services where they hire you and they get paid more and they pay people less and they make a percentage out of every employee. But companies uses those ways of hiring people because it's kind of like they do the process for you, And I always thought about, okay, well, one day I want to have a corporate. I want to have a corporate because I want to be able to hire. I was thinking about a construction business, and I want to have a corporate where I have people coming over here and do an application. We can train them, we can teach them, we can care for them. Like all these thoughts, that I had, like I feel my mind can put anything together, And I was thinking about that, like being able to hire people and being able to bring a little bit of something. Like I feel like I've always been able to get into places that not a lot of people can. And just because I'm not scared, not for any other reason, to be completely honest with you, not because I'm smarter, not because it's none of those things. It's just the fact that I'm not scared. It's just the fact that I always ask God to guide me and to put me into the places where I need to be, and the words will always come out. I never prepare for anything. So my thoughts were actually that, like, just guide me. Just guide me to be able to make it to that place where I need to be so I can help my people. If they don't know how to speak, if they don't know how to ask for a job, if they don't know how to ask for help, I know. Because I know a little bit of English more than they do. And I'm able to communicate. Like, my English is not perfect. There's so many things that...
You fool me.
I fool everybody.
You're fooling me right now.
And I'm not perfect. You know what I mean? And I don't expect to see perfection either. Like, I expect to see... I even now that I have people that come and try to work with me, and they be like, well, but I don't know English. Okay, you don't know English, but you want to, right?
Live in Texas. You don't even
live
need
in
it.
Texas, man. You don't even need it no more.
Just say you don't need it.
You don't need it. You don't need it.
It's essential, but you don't need
It's
it.
essential, but you don't need it to do and pursue whatever you want.
Nope, not here.
How do you just say it? Like, comprobado.
It's proven.
It's proven. It's proven. And to me, a person that has a desire and that they want and their energy is in the right place and they want to, hey, I'm here for that. Because we're both moving the same. You know what I mean? And I appreciate that more than anything else.
So doing that, you wanted to create something, a company, something that you can give job to people?
Yes.
Okay.
Give jobs to people so they can feed their family, so they don't have to be struggling. And if I'm going to be the big word that going to be speaking for you, let me speak for you.
Okay.
You know?
So you get that vision of doing that, but where do you start beginning to get into even the roofing industry? Because a Latina in the roofing industry is not like a everything occurrence, or even maybe some people might not even fathom.
You'd be surprised, Crispin.
Oh, there's quite a bit of
surprised.
Roof ladies.
Now there's a lot. I can tell you that, and that just gives me more. It gives me more hope. You know what I mean? And it makes me feel like, yes, we got this. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like when people see and think that, oh, because they're women, they don't know how to do that. Like, they can't do that. It's like, who says that we can't? Yes, we can. And I still experience these situations, you know, where I have people tell me, like, what do you know how to do? You know?
From guys in the roofing industry, or from customers, or from both?
It's like I still experience a little bit of situations with customers, you know, but it's okay. Like, I've learned that it's okay because they want somebody that knows. You know what I mean? Like,
that's everybody, though, right?
Exactly. Yeah. When you come, so I don't take it personal. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I can't take it personal. But there is times where I've seen situations where the guy doesn't want you to get on the roof just because of the fact that you're a woman. You know what I mean? And it's like...
But is it more of a concern of like...
Like if something is going to happen to you?
No, not that. It's more of a concern of like, not that you're able to do it, or is it, do you want to have somebody like, let's say he's a gentleman. He doesn't want you to be going out there to do it.
As a
Do you get that vibe? Was more like, you're a woman, you shouldn't be out there and doing it. That, okay.
That.
Different.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're able to see people's expressions and reactions, and I am that kind of person that I pay attention very well to details of how people react into things. And that's when I read the people that I know if they want me to do it or they don't want me to do it. And I got to be honest with you. Like, I don't push something that I don't feel like I should push. You know what I mean? And it's okay. It's okay. It's okay for them to feel the way they feel. They got their own reasons behind it as in why they feel that way. And I'm not here to change people's thoughts. Like, I got enough with mine. You know what I mean? As long as I know what I'm doing, I don't necessarily like care about how he see it. If he's going to feel more comfortable me bringing a guy in and talk to him, it's okay. I can do that all day long. Okay. I don't think about those things anymore. I don't take those things to heart. I just see it as work. Okay. And to me, it's like, well, you just got to keep going.
So who presented you that there's a roofing industry that you can make some money out of it?
Well, like I said, I've always been around so many different people.
Specifically roofers and families
in the family that, been in the roofing business. And not necessarily a business, but working as employees, you know.
So they're always been just the workers, not just the people that are the actual company that goes and does that.
No, I met one person once. One time. This was, ya lo voy a quemar, but this was a cousin of mine who brought this girl to the house once, and she was really pretty. She was really nice. She barely spoke any Spanish, but she was Latina, era mexicana. Mm-hmm. And I saw, like the way she dressed, like she looked like she was, like she was taking care of herself. You're able to tell the difference as in who they are. And my cousin I told him, like, who is she? And I still remember the name. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily always remember names, but her name was Rosario. I just put it out there because I've been wanting to see where she go. You know what I mean? She inspired me. Really? The day I met her, she inspired me, and him telling me like who she was inspiring to me. Because
who is she?
She had a roofing company. She had a roofing company, and this was back in like 2018. No, 2008. Mm-hmm. When I met that girl. Okay. And I mean, obviously a lot of years passed, right? Right before, after I met her. And he told me like, oh, she lives really good. Like she has a huge house, a 2-story home.
At that time?
That's what I'm saying, and he was telling me like, yeah, she has several crews that she does roofing, and she does a lot of insurance. She works through the insurance, and at the moment, like, he didn't know much, mm-hmm. He was just an installer. He was just working not necessarily for her, but I think they met at work. That was his
girlfriend?
That was his girlfriend at the moment.
Smart move, my man. Go for the boss.
He didn't stay with her.
Oh, he didn't stay. Bad move, my man.
Because of the freaking ego, the fact that she was already a boss lady. Yes.
Should take care of me, girl.
Oh, my God. Right? And I was like, cuz, what are you doing?
I got my ego so in check.
He was like, no. I got my ego so in check. I gotta take care of my things on my own.
Yeah, I have my ego so in check that if a lady was to come and want to take care of me with a lot of money, I'm like, okay,
I'll take it.
I work too much already, girl. I'm tired. Take care of me, por favor. So she inspires you.
She inspired me, and that's when I said, hey, as a woman, I can have a company, a roofing company, Because, again, I used to see my cousins all the time working in the roofing. My dad worked at the roofing. And at that time, my dad was already in Mexico. But I always knew that roofing will make really good money,
mm-hmm.
So, in 2019, I go through another situation, right? And the situation pushed me to find something else. It was already pandemic. It was during the pandemic. And after the pandemic. No, we were still on the pandemic in 2019. That's when I started doing the other business. And then in 2020, that's when situation happens. And then I'm thinking like, oh, damn, I got to do something else, that I need to make more money. What am I going to do? Because this business that I'm running from home mm-hmm. is not working because I can't have physical contact with anyone. And doing the detox meant like I need to be touching feet and I need to be breathing like all these chemicals and whatever. And I can't do that anymore. Like pandemic closed everything for us. So I'm thinking, okay, well, yes, it's construction. Yes, but it's outside and they're not inside of nobody's house. It's roofing. They're outside. I need to speak with someone. I can speak with someone over the phone, or I can, from far away, send you whatever documents from the computer. We can close the deal, and whatever needs to happen is going to happen. Like, I don't need to have physical interaction with anyone. And I'm thinking like, well, and I'm also thinking, Deissy, well, you doing physical work, it's not always gonna work, because the moment you're not able to do physical work, then you stop making money. Mm-hmm. So you gotta change your thoughts, like tienes que cambiar the way you think, how you want to work, make things happen. So I always known that as long as you know how to sell something, you're never gonna suffer hunger. ¿Cómo se dice?
Hunger.
Yeah. No, because you can do anything. You know what I mean? You can sell anything and make money. You buy something, you add a little bit of money onto that, and that's your profit. It's that simple.
So who's the first company that you kind of start taking notes as to just learning the business?
I was introduced to selling, the business I didn't know. I didn't know the business. I didn't know nothing about the business. I just used to know that my cousins were going to a house and they were installing, and they had a group that were already on their own, and they just had whoever the contractor was getting the houses, and they were passing into them, and they were coming and building the roof, and we're good to go.
But you started working with a gentleman or 3G?
Before I started the other business, I was working with a contractor, and I was a sales rep.
You were learning.
I was learning
about the contracts, about what is required, and everything else.
Yes.
Then you move into a partnership with a few people to create your own. Is it already a roofing company, or is it not?
It started as a roofing company, but then they started adding all trades, and the people that I was working with, they were very knowledgeable about the different trades that they were like, okay, Deissy, we're just going to incorporate this. So Deissy was still being like the head of everything, but they were working together with me to start working in projects, to start working in flips, to start working in interior. That's when I started learning about, it was a whole process. I learned different ways, and I learned by exposing myself, by working with people that was in the field. They were sketching, they were working with claims, they were working for the insurance companies this was already passing me working with someone else when I was already on my own with my friends.
Okay.
And the experience that they had work with what I wanted to do. So I learned what they were doing. And that's when I started growing my mind in terms of, what do I know? How do I want to do this? You know, I exposed myself into all different situations to be able to learn every single step to continue to have a better system, and to understand more about the process of everything. And it was probably like 2 years that took me to do a lot and to understand more about what the construction is about.
Yeah.
And what to do, what not to do, and all that.
After you learn all those things and the partnership doesn't really work out, then you move into doing your own thing eventually. You pretty much have everything down, the formula. How do you want to do it? So you come up with the name, Creation Roofing and Foundation. You still dedicate foundations then?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
So the name, I know you're not too much attached to names or anything, but the name itself means something to you, right?
Of course.
Why is that?
When I decided to name it Creation, I mean, obviously roofing and foundation is because of those are the two main trades that we do. But creation, we are creators by nature, you know?
Right.
God allow us to create anything we want. So to me, this business is creation, is creating new opportunities, creating new information, creating systems, creating different, you know, like so many different things. You know what I mean? Like, you make ugly things look pretty. It's another creation. You know what I mean? Like, see befores and afters. You're creating, you're giving information to others that people don't necessarily always know. So creation roofing doesn't have like a limit. You know what I mean? Like, creation roofing can be anything. If I want to flip a home with creation, I can flip a home with creation. If I want to, you name it. You know what I mean? That's why the name is that. You're creating. And to me, creating is never an ending. It has no end.
So even though there's no limitations to what you're able to do, your main focus right now is steel roofing. How many years you're with the company established already?
With the company established, 2 years.
2 years?
2 years.
So you've been rebranding, you changed the logo, the website, you always put in work in, you bring in different people, you partner up with realtors not that long ago, right? Do you still continue working with?
Yes.
How did that... Is it beneficial for you to partner? Well, it's always beneficial to partner up with people, right? But have you found that, you know, realtors right now works good for you because they can add another thing to the house that they're buying?
Look. Like, look.
I'm looking.
partnering, more than partnering, is more of like associating with others, more of like giving the information that you have to those that actually are like in the same industry. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I feel like you always got, when you have a product, this is a product at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. And people will look for you for your product. And you always got to let others know what you're doing in order for you to get those people to remember you or your face or whatever when they need something that you do. You know what I mean? So I feel like... ya se me olvidó lo que estaba diciendo.
About partnerships and relationships.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Relationships. Mm-hmm. That's what it is, like relationships. So I feel like my friends that working as realtors, them being part of that, of course, you're dealing with homes, You need to do a closing and your roof is not done. That roof needs to be done in order for you to be able to close.
Yeah, or you're selling your home and you're trying to sell
That's what I'm saying. You're selling, you're buying. Yeah. That roof and that foundation have got to be in good conditions in order for you to be able to sell. Yeah. So, hey, hit me up, And also another one of the benefits that I have from there is that some people doesn't have all the information that they need at the time of buying, and homes are very important. Like some people think that, I'm never going to be able to buy a home. And it's not like that. Nothing is impossible. You just have to have the right information. And if I can deliver that information to those, or someone that I'm working with can give you that information, I want to give you that information. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Some people have a lot of issues in their properties, and their properties are already paid off or almost about to be paid off, and they're living in like very poor conditions, and they don't have any money to make any repairs, but they have equity in their properties. So, but they don't know that. They don't know that they can use equity to be able to rehab their homes, or even to take money out of there to invest on a business, like things like that, or flip a home, sell a home, make some money and do it again, Yeah. And people don't know these things.
So those things were brought to you most likely by the loan officers that kind of told you how it was, so you could tell the information so they can go and talk to them. I'm
always informing myself to be able to give that information to others. Yes.
Where did you find that information about? What made you want to learn about it?
Because I come across a lot of homeowners that have different experiences with different situations. And again, if I can have some information that can fix your situation, I'm going to provide it. Right. And that's what I do.
Okay. So Creation Roofing now is how many years? Remind me again? 2 years, full years, and you continue to go expand your relationship with different people.
All the time.
Social media, different things like that.
Yes.
Podcasting 2 times already.
Hey!
Okay, we're running short on time. Was there any questions that you had in mind that I wish he asked me about this particular thing, or anything like that on your way over here?
No. I never think about anything. I feel like God always...
She says that, but she was asking, what are you going to ask me? Before we started rolling cameras. Don't let it trick
asked, Crispin, what are you going to ask me? And you were like, you're going to be fine. All right, then. He says, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be fine. And I trust in that.
Put you in a compromising position.
I don't know.
I don't know if I was open to the ghost conversation, but it's all good. I know it's part of life. Before I let you go, give me all your social media. Where can people find you? If they need to get a hold of you to do free quotes, free whatever the case might be, tell me what it would be like.
Okay, well, obviously Creation Roofing is being formed. We're pretty much everywhere. We have a Facebook page, Creation Roofing and Foundation. Pretty much the name everywhere. Website www.creationroofingandfoundation.com. We're in TikTok, Creation Roofing and Foundation. Instagram, Google. If you guys want to know a little bit more about all the things that we do, there's a lot of things that we can actually share with our people. We have a lot of information about home coverage, about claims. We work with insurance all the time. And not just with insurance companies. People think that all we do is insurance. No, but if you have a roof and you want to do a cash deal, or you want to make a quick flip, or, you want to do any plan modifications, you want to design something, you don't know where to go, you got spaces in your home that you don't know what to do with them, give me a call. I can definitely help out with that.
You do any installment payments or anything like that right now?
Yes. Okay. Yes. I actually started creating a program. Les digo como kind of like tandas, like grab a few people.
Installment
payments.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome.
To be
and
able
they can find it on the website too?
I haven't posted on the website. I have posted on my TikTok and my Facebook, but I'm gonna start putting it on the website because I feel like it's very important. Not a lot of people has all the cash at front or all the money at front to be able to do a project like this, but we always find ways. We always find ways to finance, to be able to help them out, to work payment plans, whatever we can make happen.
It gets pricey with the roofing. If you don't have the insurance, you're not doing the insurance. What is an important lesson that you learned doing roofing as a woman and Latina that you would tell your younger self that will help somebody else out? What would that be?
Oh, man, be really careful with your contracts. Be really careful with your contracts. You are in the industry where people play a lot of games, You do
the work and they don't want to give you the money.
They don't want to give you the money. Yeah. I experienced that a lot. And it's...
Put a lien on the house. Mechanical lien.
But that's what I'm saying. You have to have a good contract to be able to even back up those processes with placing a lien in the property. So be really careful with your contracts.
And if you're hiring a Latina, a woman, Mexicano, whatever the case might be, and if you're one of those butts that do not want to pay the people you hired them for their work, you know where you're going. You know where you're heading straight to. And just know everything comes in full circle, bro. Nobody going to feel sorry for you whenever your consequences come knocking at your door. Just saying. Don't be that kind of person.
Yeah, don't.
Okay. And something that I say, I'm not immortal. I am mortal. I will die one day. Just to remind me of mortality, of how we're not here forever. Not to scare me, terrorize me, but just to remind me and helps me hurry up and do stuff. With that, I wish you a long, long, prosperous life. After everything's said and done, what do you want people to think and feel about your life? Miss Deissy Palomo.
Oh, man.
Deissy with an E.
Deissy with an E. Trust your guts, Trust your guts and have a lot of faith. Faith will move and change and do everything and anything you want.
I'm going to try this question. I don't know if it's going to work, but I want you to ask a question. I saw it on another podcast. My bad, bro.
Está experimentando.
Pero as Latinos, as somebody that's Latino, our Latino community, Latino culture, what is a great question that you will want to ask our future guests, our next guest that's coming up? Just in general, whether it be about life or entrepreneurship. Anything that comes to mind for you that you want to find out, want to maybe know, or any curiosity you have? Any question?
Yes, I think for me it's very important to know if people is happy.
Okay, so their question would be, are you happy?
Are you happy with what you're doing?
What you're doing. And I'll make sure that I ask them that question. Okay?
Yes.
Thank you very much for being here again. This is our second podcast together. One was in Spanish, which is, you feel more comfortable. English, I think you did amazing. You're really good, entertaining. So thank you for sharing the story about it. And again, we met a long time ago. I think even our similarities in our stories are pretty crazy. But I always consider you. I don't consider many people a friend, but you're always a homie of mine. You're a good friend of mine. And with everything you do as a Latina woman, as an entrepreneur, as a mom of five, which you wouldn't talk too much about it, being able to still be able to provide for your family, be out in the field, and still learn about the business, about being a contractor as a female and Latina, it's like crazy that even though, let's say you didn't go to school, but just in doing and working with a company, taking all those lessons and implementing to be yours, and just everything that you had to go through life to be able to learn, whether it be young in the streets, because that's what just happened to being able to be at, like, let's say a corporation like Amway and everything else, that you learn to help you build what was yours, was your baby, and you continue to push it forward. And without a shadow of doubt, Deissy, you are a global land factor. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for the invite. It's always a pleasure.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for joining another episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast. Guess what? If you would like to be part of the Global Latin Factor community, subscribe right now to the channel. Support us at don't have to tell you what to do, but I know that you know that anytime you help us out, it helps us a lot. Carry these stories, these amazing journeys like Deissy's, to the entire community, showing an amazing example of our community doing amazing things. And again, remember, we are just like you. We are humans. We are the spice in this melting pot that it is the world. Till next time.